Hello and welcome to this mid-morning taste challenge. I did a Dawn Busters this morning. Actually, on the wrong channel. Started it on anti-war, but then I continued on to this channel. Grants versus 100 Pipers. Here's Grants. Introduced 1887, now called Triple Wood. I bought this bottle. I bought this bottle and it's labeled Family Reserve. In 2018, they changed it to Triple Wood because it receives 3 wood treatments. You can look at that on the website. I put a link below. But Family Reserve, Triple Wood, everybody calls it Grants. I mean, I don't know anybody that calls it Family Reserve or Triple Wood. Everybody just calls it Grants blended Scotch whiskey. This is their flagship. It's about $15.99 a bottle, so $16 a bottle. You might find it for $15 a bottle, but normally you're gonna pay $15.99. Now for this big bottle, with the extra 1,000 milliliters, it's $23.99, but I got it for $21.99, so I didn't see that price for too long. Are there other more expensive expressions? Yes, certainly. Much more expensive. There's a 25-year age, which would be around $200. Haven't had that one, obviously. But anyways, the competitor, Cutty Sark, since 1923. New kid on the block. Haha, 1923. There's the ship, the Cutty Sark, a clipper ship. Blended Scotch whiskey. It's been passed around through different companies. Grants is still owned by the Grant family, William Grant and sons and grandsons and great-grandsons and great-great-grandsons and great-great-great-great-grandsons. But anyway, Cutty Sark has been passed around. 2018, it was acquired by Glen Turner, a Scotch company. Glen Turner, which is actually a subsidiary of a French company called La Martiniquais. La Martiniquais. And if you look at the La Martiniquais website, they talk about how they were started a long time ago, like 100 years ago, as a rum importer. And then they just kept expanding, buying brandy, cognac brandy, gin, scotch, you know what I mean. You know how it goes. So La Martiniquais. Anyway, we'll just go with Cutty Sark. Green bottle. I see that somebody got it on sale this week for $13.99. Yeah, $13.99 at Rouse's. Are there, and you can get the big handle bottles, glass with the handle. It looks nice, you know, for about, I don't know, like $23 like this. You can get the Prohibition, which is higher proof, age longer. And there's even other expressions which aren't listed on the website, but I've seen photos, 12-year age. John and Illy and I saw a super deluxe version for $250 in Georgia. I don't know, it was like a 20-year age or something. But generally, they just have Cutty Sark and Cutty Sark Prohibition, and that's what you see. But like so many liquor companies, they have what they show, and then there's what they don't show. And sometimes what they don't show is more interesting than what they show. But we deal with what we can deal with. So that's Cutty Sark. This is Grants. Honestly, I think it's going to be a beat down, whip up, beat up, smack down, just like this morning. This morning was sad in a way. 100 Pipers beat it so bad. I mean, the aroma, no, it wasn't much difference in the aroma, except the 100 Pipers had a little bit more caramel sweetness, which wasn't that great of an aroma, honestly. But when it came to taste, forget it. Grants was harsh, grain, grating, abrasive grain alcohol. And whereas 100 Pipers, the most popular Scotch in Scotland, by the way, 100 Pipers was slightly, subtly smoky, had a demure peat flavor, a smooth, mellow body, and a nice, pleasant finish. It was everything you wanted in Grants but never got. Anyway, would I like to try the 12-year age 100 Pipers? Sure, I'd like to try it, but I don't think I'll ever see it. Hadn't seen it yet. Anyway, that was a bad one. That was a bad, and I think they're all going to be bad. I'm sorry. I called my friend on the phone, David Garlopy. You know, he does duo reviews, and I was telling him this morning, like at 6:20 a.m. I said, man, that Grants has not been performing too well. And he was saying, He was getting like agitated. Didn't I tell you? What did I tell you at your house? That stuff's terrible. And he was going on and on and on. I was like, yeah, you did say that. I said, but I bought it because it's one of the mainline blended Scotch whiskey brands. Even though I knew what you said, he knows as well as I do I was going to buy it anyway just to put it in the challenges. For however it pans out. Dewar's, I wasn't too impressed with the white label Dewar's 3-year aged, and I plan to buy a bottle of that sometime. To me, it tastes like kind of like this harsh grain alcohol. Now the 12-year, yeah, a lot better. All right, so there's the compass, the spirit of adventure on the back of Cutty Sark. Hey, Spider, give me a Cutty and water. So anyway, there it is. Our actions define who we are. But who they are changes about every 3 years when it gets bought out. But anyway, look, Cutty Sark is a brand that's been on the market for 90 years, 97 years. And it's made according to an algorithm more than an art. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really matter who buys it. They just say, make it exactly this way. And they got master distillers in Scotland, so they make it exactly that way. All right? And it's done. Yeah, it used to be 86.6 proof back in the old days. But most of these whiskeys, and my friend David rants and raves about this, have been done. Should I say dumbed down to 80 proof? I shouldn't say that. There's some reason behind it. I don't know quite why. They've been brought down to 80. That sounds better, brought down to 80. Jack Daniels used to be 90 proof. But Jack Daniels was brought down to 86 and then 90. 80. Either they were cutting corners and wanted to save money, or they felt like the consumer wanted a lighter whiskey, milder whiskey, or, and this is an intriguing theory that I came up with, or the liquor companies wanted to go down to 80, which is the minimum. If you go below 80, it can't be a whiskey. Go to 80, all right, for your flagship. Then you can bring in the higher proofs for all the specialty brands. And then you can charge more, and then people will buy it and say, I tried the Jim Beam Prohibition. I tried the Jim Beam Circus Elephant. I tried the Jim Beam Tin Pan Alley. I tried the Jim Beam. There was one that just came out this past week. So it could be a strategic move. You bring it to 80, down to 80, and then you got all the other higher level offerings, and you could charge more, and people be running after it to buy it and all that. That would be a good idea. I think that would be a great move. So in a way, it's a smart move. You bring your flagship down to 80, which is the lowest you can go. But then there's no limit on the upside. So then you can have your 90, like Crown Royal Black, which is 90 proof. And then you could have your barrel proof, 137 proof. You know what I'm saying? So you just it gives you more room to work, I guess you could say. But that could be totally just a misunderstanding on my part. It might just be because they want money and they cheap. I don't know. But I do know this. I can't answer for Grants. But didn't I post a photo on Alcohol Eggs showing Grants at 86 proof? I'm pretty sure. And Cutty Sark, I've posted many photos of that, was 86.6 proof, clearly. If you look at the La Martinique's website, they show Cutty Sark as 2 different levels. All right. They have very good descriptions on their website. And they say 40 proof / 43. I'm sorry, 40% alcohol and 43% alcohol. So that must depend on what country they're sending it to. So in the USA, we're getting the 80 proof. But maybe in Brazil or Uruguay or Sri Lanka, maybe they're getting 86 proof. You know, but they're both Cutty Sark. Think about that for a minute. Happens with beer. You get different ABV on beer depending on the market. And that's a fact. Okay, so well, I was say the Glen Turner, the Cutty Sark I bought says Edrington Group. That's before they sold it. Edrington. The Cutty Sark is very light straw. Even has a green tint to it. So it's very light, very pale. A lot of people like pale whiskeys. I'm one of those people. I don't think they added any coloring to it. It looks like it's pale gold, as you would expect from a used bourbon barrel. And that barrel might be 20, 30, 40 years old. You know, all the char is going to be gone, essentially. And the color is going to come from the wood. I mean, there'll be char, but it isn't going to impact the color to any kind of great extent. It isn't even going to impact the flavor. You can watch videos from not some guy talking. No, that doesn't mean anything. Videos from actual distilleries. And they'll say, well, you know, the char action is going to be important in the first running, the bourbon. It'll have a minimal impact in the second running, like with Canadian Mist, which is a second running of whiskey. That was just bought by Sazerac, by the way, because it's like using a tea bag again and again and again. Well, eventually you keep dipping the tea bag, but you're not going to get any kind of like real impact from it. So now the Grants, you get the impression, or I get the suspicion that it's colored. They may add caramel coloring. I find it hard to believe it'd be that dark, you know, kind of a young whiskey. Yeah, you say, well, remember 10 years ago, I'm sorry, 6 years ago, they were on the internet saying caramel color is going to make you get cancer and die. You got to think about that for a minute, and then you realize that is a foolish thing to say. You know, caramel. What is caramel coloring? It comes from sugar that's browned in a pan. All right, so you take white sugar and you brown it in a pan and make it turn dark, like tan color. You get it liquefied, whatever, and you bottle it, and then you color things with it, make them turn brown, and then you believe a story that it's going to make you're going to catch cancer. You're going to have cancer because you had something colored with caramel color. Now, you know, they got a lot of dumb. I'm susceptible to being tricked. You know, I can fall for things too, but come on. I'm supposed to believe this? It's bad enough with all the propaganda with cigarettes. And I'm not a cigarette smoker, but, you know, that's been way. I need to go reread that article on Lou Rockwell from 2 days ago, because they just talk about the total one-sided fanaticism with that, and it's totally unbalanced perception of that. That's sort of like a thing that people have been aware of for a while, but I don't want to get into that right now. But you know, it's just, but the caramel color is even more preposterous. You know, you're going to say, well, you're breathing in smoke from burned leaves. You know, that could be okay. Yeah, you can kind of see that could be a problem. But to think that brown sugar and you color something with it, it's going to make you get cancer, you would have to have almost like a child's mentality. You would have to have worse than a child's mentality to believe it, if you actually thought about it for a minute. Well, anyway, Cutty Sark, one of the classics. Now on the website, it tells you clearly it's made in a blender, a blender. Yeah, you put fruit in and go. Wing. It's a mixer. I'll just read a brief description. Well, it says, Cutty Sark is an easy-to-drink blended Scotch whiskey, which is light in color and flavor, but heavy on the fun. It was created for mixing. There's your answer right there. It's created for mixing, not doing what I'm doing right now. Tempting, golden, and bright. Cutty Sark is smooth, vibrant, sweet, and uplifting. Trust us, you'll want more. Yes, I have one. Clean, balanced, and lively with vanilla and citrus fruits. It's accessible, fresh, and enticing with subtle hints of vanilla, ice cream, and caramel. All right, so they're basically telling you, look, this is not a gourmet scotch. It's not made for like swirling around in a glass and sitting there talking about all the erudite qualities of it. It's a fun, not meant to be, you're going into this deep speculative metaphysical experience with it. It's just, that's what it is. And I think it works for that. It works as that, not with that, as that. Grant's Triple Wood. This one I got mixed very feelings about. Aged in 3 distinct woods for a smoother taste. No problem there. I don't take issue with that. It's saying complex, clean nose with notes of ripe pear and summer fruits. I might not be good at smelling whiskey. That could be the problem at hand, but I smell harsh, rather off-putting grain whiskey in the nose. I'm not picking up ripe pear and summer fruits, but that's me. I could be an amateur. I am an amateur. Taste balances vanilla sweetness with malty and light floral fragrances. Once again, I'm picking up harsh, abrasive grain notes. Long and sweet with a subtle hint of smoke. Smoke, I would love to pick up smoking Grants, but I've not picked up any smoke. Now, you might think, oh, yeah, you got some kind of anger against it. Some people could be thinking that. You asked them to send you something free and they didn't send it, so you're going on the attack against them. First of all, I don't ask companies to send me anything. Secondly, I have no experience with Grants aside from trying Clan McGregor, which I actually liked a lot and I've bragged on. So I just call these as I see them. If I had taken Grants and loved it and thought it was fabulous, well, you know what? I'd be bragging on it. Jeremy V says, cheers, my friend. Hey, Jeremy. I don't have any, battery cables. You know what I'm talking about? All right. That wasn't too cool, man. All right, here we go. You see, the aroma sometimes doesn't let you know what's up. You got to taste it. Well, it is called a taste challenge, but the aroma on here is a lot of grain, cereal grain, kind of rough cut. I have to have my eyes closed because the Cutty Sark is so much lighter. Not sure. Let's go over here. Yeah, you see, I'm picking up kind of a caramel note. I don't recall picking up a caramel note with Grants. It's just like, clawing, not cloying, clawing, like the grain claws you whiskey. But the other ones I noticed I get a caramel note. So that could be the tip off right there, but I'm not sure. Let's go with the, so I want to thank everybody for watching. Let's go with the taste. This is where the rubber hits the road. This is where the grain hits the still in the water. Oh, you're wondering, why are you doing 2 in a day? Yeah, same answer I always give when I do 2 in one day. It's to make up time for upcoming days where I can see the schedule may not work. So the same thing's going to happen in August. So I got a calendar book. I mean, you might look at me and roll your eyes and say, nobody drinks like that. They don't make a calendar book. Here it is, a date book. And literally I put a little check mark for a date that's been taken. So is it like the hip thing to do to drink according to a schedule? I doubt it, but it works for me. So I just plan it out. I got all the beers planned out for the next week. That's a true story. Doesn't take the fun out of it. You might say it takes the fun and adventure out of it. It honestly doesn't take the fun and adventure. It just makes sure I don't drink too much. Plus, it even more important, I think it makes sure I don't skip over something on accident. And thirdly, it's just organized and structured, and still an adventure because I get to try them. You know, most of these things I've scheduled out, I haven't tried, so I don't know why that's a problem. Taste. Tell you the truth, they both have kind of a grain alcohol harshness. It's funny, or I should say peculiar. When you taste one against another, it may taste completely different than if you taste that same one against some other. It's odd. They don't always taste the same one against one and then a one against another. It's like the flavor of different ones can make them taste differently. You say, well, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't really make sense, but there's some reason behind it. It's like your perception of it changes based on the perception interacting with the other one. You understand the two different. Now, I might do this tomorrow morning against J and B. Is that going to be a blowout? J and B is going to kill Grants. And that's no joke. I'll just guarantee that. But it just could be a different experience. There's a hard edge grain alcohol to this. On the other hand, there is sort of, kind of a little bread dough thing happening, which I know Cutty Sark has that bread dough from the single malts. I guess both of these be about 80% grain whiskey, column still grain whiskey, and about 20% copper pot still single malts. That's giving it the flavor. All right, well, I think I know the answer now. It took a little work. You say it was hard work, huh? It was kind of hard. Oh, Grants, why are you like this? Okay, I'm gonna tell you the truth. And the aroma kind of confused me, but the taste, it ain't confusing me. This Grants. Ooh, it is so rough. Now you might say, that's right, because it's a man's whiskey. Be a man, it's rough. What are you, feminine? I might be. Because this is just it's abrasive. It is abrasive. Now, you might say, well, I love drinking abrasive grain whiskey because I'm a man. Well, I'm going to let you love drinking it. I'm going to let you love drinking it, and I'm going to love drinking the sissy stuff. Because if enjoying whiskey about being sissies and maltiness and bread dough, I'll do that because I rather something that tastes good. I don't want whiskey with good taste. I want whiskey that tastes good. You feel me? So I don't really entertain peer pressure or people saying, well, you got to position yourself a certain way and it's got to be, you got to frame it and be in a certain cultural paradigm to taste these, to be accepted. None of those things mean a hill of beans to me. And let me be even more frank. I don't even care because I'm just tasting it and telling you what I think. Now, does the Cutty Sark have some kind of glaring grain alcohol components? It does. It does. However, there are some single malt bread dough characters. They're not predominant, but they do balance it a little bit and give it some toleration, tolerable drinking aspects, drinking facilities or attributes. So I'm not bragging on Cutty Sark, and in fact, I don't really ever recall bragging on Cutty Sark. I had remarked in the past, it's true that it had a little bit of a green flavor, and that there was a bread dough, and it was very light. And I might have said it was sort of bland or whatever. But I can't knock it because what are they saying on the website? It's created to be that way. It's a mixer, dumb. I appreciate that. I accept that. And I endorse that. Same thing with Seagram's VO. Look on the bar.com if the website's still functioning. Sometimes it does. Usually it doesn't. But it'll tell you right there, created to be a mixer. In other words, it's dull. But I don't know what Grant's is created to be. I'm trying to say like, oh, well, it has some characters, but it's just grain alcohol, man. I could go buy Kentucky Dale. You say, don't go there. Please, I beg you not to go there. I'm going there. I don't care. I can buy Kentucky Dale. You are not my. I can buy Kentucky Dale, which is 80% grain spirits. It's got nothing going for it, aside from the ridiculously low price and the kind of nice looking label. But honestly, you could almost say, maybe not quite, but you could almost say that Kentucky Dale is more pleasant. It's not worse. You say, but that's cheap. I know what you're thinking. Come on, man. Kentucky Dale is cheap, cut rate Kentucky blended whiskey. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So, and it tastes about the same as this Grant's, but yet over half the price. Oh, mama monkey. Hey, well, look, I don't feel bad because A, I didn't make the product. B, it wasn't given to me. And C, I paid for it. And D, like I keep saying again and again, I'm going to call it as I see it. I'm not even saying Cutty Sark is that good because it ain't really that good. But it's way better than Grant's. Imagine this. I've done this many taste challenges with Grant so far. I got it mixed up once. Once I got it wrong. I'll admit to that. I was shocked, dismayed, troubled. I'm starting to get over it. Not really that well. But all the rest, no way. Never got it confused. And it was a clear-cut defeat. You say, so it's like a football team. They played 9 games and they have 1 win and 8 losses. No. No, they had 0 wins, 8 losses, and 1 tie. This is like before 1996 when they used to play for ties in college football, which I preferred. I used to prefer ties. I hate overtime. It just goes on and on and on. And then they'll put the ball on the 25 and they'll keep throwing it in the end zone until somebody gets more points and they win. We were better. You're not better. You tied. The game ended in a tie. You're not better. All they did was do a contrived ending. They put the ball on a 25 and y'all threw it back and forth till somebody got a score and then you didn't get a score. You're not better. Okay, so you're better. You tied. Then they had this contrived little pitch the ball thing at the end of the game, and you could say you won. And then you see all the fans in the stands talking about, yeah! I'm like, I don't know what you're celebrating for. You were a 12-point favorite, and all you did was beat them in overtime, third overtime. Oh, yeah, I'd be pretty worried. Guess what? Your ranking's going to drop. But you can't explain that to people, but anyway. Would I recommend grants? What do you want me to recommend it for? Misery, personal misery? The howling madness. You seem to really hate grants. Yeah, I do. How much do you have left in the bottle? Sadly, about 85%. Look how much whiskey's in this bottle. First of all, this is a huge bottle. It's going to take years, and I mean years, to get through this. Was it this year, 2020? Man, I wouldn't be shocked if it was 2024 and I'm still suffering with this. And that is no joke. Will I be dismayed when I'm done with it? Obviously not. I don't even like it. But, oh, first 1,000 young punks. All right, anyway. I got to get out of here. Cutty Sark. Not that great. Not that enjoyable. But way better than grants. And it actually does have some redeeming qualities. Not too many. Some. It's a mixer, you know. I don't do mixed drinks. You say you drink all those canned cocktails, those pre-mixed canned cocktails. Yeah, first of all, they're pre-mixed. Secondly, I only drink one for a taste, a review. Thirdly, they're very inexpensive in a general sense. And fourthly, it doesn't really matter because it's a one and done thing. And maybe I do a revisit later down the road. No big deal. So they're pre-mixed canned cocktails or bottled, like the Jack Daniel's Tennessee Southern Peach and Down Home Punch. It's no big deal because it's no real effort. You know what I'm saying? There's no effort. You didn't buy a huge bottle and you're going to go through it. Oh, I'm going to go through all these canned cocktails again and again and again and again. It doesn't mean anything. I did the original Club Tales. I did MXD. There'll probably be 100 more I'll do. You say, well, they're not real mixed drinks. They're like mimic cocktails. Well, yeah, I mean, everybody knows they're mimic cocktails. Nobody even buying them thinks they're real cocktails. They're just simply a cheap alternative to a cocktail. And if you looked at it in a more objective sense, they probably rival cocktails. Maybe in some cases they're better than cocktails, because if you go to the bar and you pay $6.50 or $8 for a cocktail, you know as well as I do, they're using the cheapest cut rate liquor they can find. Like, worse than this. It ain't like Grant's and Cutty Sark. They're using like Rickaloff vodka and Beam's 8 Star and Canadian Supreme, which ain't Supreme. I don't have to explain that because you know that. You should know that. Cutty Sark. Well, if it says Grants, I'm wrong and I'll live with it, but it ain't going to say Grants. Ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. No, I'm not an expert. No, it doesn't reflect on my expertise. It reflects on Grant's glaring graininess. You say, well, grain's not bad. The world revolves around grain. Yeah, I don't believe grain is bad. I believe that harsh, abrasive grain flavor is bad. I ate bread and butter this morning with breakfast. What are you talking about? I had 2 medium eggs fried in extra virgin olive oil with some corned beef hash and diced onions. Thank you very much. With Valentina extra hot sauce and black pepper put on there. Oh, and some pepper jack cheese melted in with the eggs. So yeah, the bread is made from grain. I enjoyed the bread. It wasn't great. It wasn't great. Had some grape jelly on it with butter. It wasn't great. It was good. But this Grant's, I don't know. I don't know. It exists. It is what it is. So we got J&B coming up next tomorrow morning, God willing, at 30 a.m. Eastern time. That is going to be real bad. You want to watch a fiasco? You want to see a really bad video? Check out tomorrow morning. I guarantee you, Justarinian Brooks, J&B, it's going to be so profoundly horrendous. It's kind of scary in a way. I mean, within context, not scary in real life, but it's going to be bad. I mean, really bad. And then what's coming up after that? It gets way worse, way worse. Let's look at these things. Grants versus Buchanan. I can't even say it without laughing. Grants versus Buchanan's 12-year. I better not make that video longer than 15 minutes. I mean, that's going to be so bad. You say, don't even make the video. It's not even a challenge. I know it's not. It's embarrassing. Then we got Chivas Regal. Well, you know, Chivas Regal's kind of bland. I'll say it's bland. Now, I was talking to Swedish. There's a girl. I think she's in Scotland, but she must be Swedish heritage, or she's from Sweden. She really liked Chivas Regal, and she was going on and on about how. I have to call him back. Going on and on about how Chivas Regal was so good. And I told her, I said, to me, it's kind of dull, you know. But she said, well, I like it. Well, she likes it. She should stick with that. But I think the Chivas Regal is going to destroy Grants because dull is not the same as abrasive. The Johnny Walker Red Label, that's going to be the worst taste challenge of all. That's going to be really bad because Johnny Walker Red Label is so profoundly better. And a lot of people slag on Red Label. They talk about, I don't like Red Label. It tastes like airplane glue and sausage and all. It's like, no, it doesn't taste like that. And then to make matters worse, Johnny Walker Blue Label, I might have to skip over that. That's not right. That's really not right. That's like abuse. That's like video abuse. I agree with that. And then the Clan McGregor, which is a cut rate priced whiskey from William Grant versus Grant's. Well, hey, you made the product. I didn't make it. I bought it. I think the Clan McGregor is going to embarrass its parent. Yes. So thanks for watching this video production. Let me call David back, see what he wants. I got to go cut the grass, so I don't know what he wants. But thanks for watching this disaster, basically what it was. So, but I predicted it. Thank you.